Making a good first impression, without a doubt, is one of the most important things, if not the most important thing, that you can do when meeting someone for the first time. Be it a job interview, talking to a girl for the first time, or meeting your local prostitutes, first impressions can go a long way. But amazing first impressions can move mountains. Making a good first impression is absolute child's play. Take a shower, comb your hair. If you don't have a hairstyle, go to absolutely any hairdresser and just tell them that you need something that looks good. Trim your beard as close to fully shaven as possible. The vast majority of women hate and find beards disgusting, so get rid of it. And most men don't give you bonus points for having a beard. Remove all the back and neck hair that you can. Use deodorant, but don't overdo it. Wear clothes fitting of the event and make sure they are always as tight fitting as possible. Absolutely never wear anything baggy. Walk with a straight back, have a good posture. When walking, always look in front of you, not on your feet. Try to smile as much as possible, don't overdo it. When someone is talking, look between their eyes. Nod or lightly reaffirm in other ways that you are listening to them while they speak. Don't be too far away from them, but don't stand too close to them. When you meet someone for the first time, always start with a polite handshake. Doesn't matter man or woman. Look into their eyes while you are handshaking, and to make sure that you're not missing the handshake, first, when you're going for it, look at their hand where it's gonna go so you can catch it. Do not fail your first handshake. Do not make it awkward. When you're doing the handshake, firm grasp. Do not squeeze too hard. This is not a competition. Look into their eyes. Smile a bit. Doesn't matter man or woman. If a woman, you can smile a bit harder. Or for a man, you can politely, slightly nod in approval. And that's it. That's the key to a simple yet effective good first impression. If your first impression is good, then the second time you see a person, you can look like an absolute disaster area, and yet they will still treat you with respect and like you. If your first impression was bad and they thought of you as a dirty idiot, it doesn't matter if the next time or next 10 times you roll up to them with a Lamborghini and prove that you have an IQ of 300, they are still gonna think of you poorly. But let's face it, you didn't come here for just the standard good first impression. No, you came here because you want to know of the absolutely most pitch perfect first impression that you can ever make. So what is this absolute god tier of a first impression? Well, obviously it's a psychological trick. We are going to be taking full advantage of the expectations versus reality principle. The good news is that the vast majority of you already in some way have experienced and used this principle in life, knowingly or unknowingly. The bad news is, while this without a doubt is the absolute peak first impression that anyone can ever make in their lives, almost no one will be ever able to actually use this in real life. Because for this first impression to work, it requires that people already know about you. And even more, it requires that people already think of a certain way about you. AKA, this first impression tactic is mostly only usable by celebrities and well-known people on the internet, or extremely popular, extremely smart people in companies. Even if you are one of these very few rare people in existence, the opinion people have about you must be extremely specific. People need to perceive you as a sort of enigma, a loose cannon, someone who is unpredictable, says brash things, does brash things, is very confident about himself. They must think of you as this fairy tale-esque existence. Anyway, there's one person in this universe who constantly gets to use this first impressions tactic. Unknowingly, but still he uses it constantly. And ironically, it's Andrew Tate. And no, I am not joking. With all of his infamy, Have you ever heard of a single woman saying, I have met Andrew Tate in real life, and he was a piece of shit asshole, or anything even remotely close to that? No, you have most likely never heard of that. Most likely, you have heard, though, countless women saying that, wow, he's actually quite a nice guy. And that is because of this first impression effect. Because most women think that Andrew Tate is a woman-hating misogynist who's gonna degrade them and treat them poorly. They are expecting that the first time they meet him, he's gonna beat up their boyfriend, fuck their dad in the ass, kiss their mom on the lips, put a leash around their necks, take them to a walk, leave them at the front door, and call them maybe after 2 weeks. And they expect this type of crazy shit to happen. But then there comes reality when they finally meet him. And he does none of that. He just smiles, shakes their hand, maybe kisses them on the cheek, asks how they are, how's the day going, oh gee golly, we're having a pretty good evening today, and that's it. Completely basic normal stuff. But the reality of the opposite party in the process gets completely and utterly shattered. They don't know what's real anymore. Everything they thought that will happen is not even remotely close to what's unfolding in front of their eyes. So when they get asked what was your first impression of him, they can't help to say good. Not because the first impression was actually good, but because they were expecting something horrific, and instead what they got was something completely normal. And when your expectations get shattered that hard, you can't help but to say something far better about the person than in reality it was.